When someone is sick, as the eldest sister, Zhao Jingyi has always taken care of her younger sisters. Zhao Jingyi frowned and decided to tell her about hearing my inner thoughts. She spoke up. Maybe I haven't rested well lately. It probably isn't a big deal. Zhao Jingyi consoled herself. Don't go home yet, you're not the only one. What? Zhao Jingyi looked shocked. Big sister. Don't tell me you can hear them too. And mom and dad as well. Zhao Jingyi took off her glasses and massaged her aching temples. In that case, she couldn't just say the whole family is sick, right? A moment later, Zhao Jingyi still asked her question. What on earth is going on? How would I know? Zhao Jingyi leaned against the car and kept talking. However, I found that the inner thoughts actually have some credibility. For example, I just checked at the company. And sure enough, there are a few people around me who were deliberately placed there. I just haven't found out who the real hidden threat around me is. That's why I came back, wondering if I could get some clues from her inner thoughts. What Zhao Jingyan said made Zhao Jingyi suddenly remember the inner voice she had ignored earlier. He was transferred back and hadn't even told the family yet. How did I know? And also, I knew the police had discovered a new victim. The police hadn't even released a statement yet. So how did I know? Zhao Jingyi's final thought paused on my inner voice, saying that the criminal they caught was just a scapegoat. Big sister, did you learn something from his inner voice? Zhao Jingyan explained the incident about the banquet surveillance footage, but kept the company matter hidden. Zhao Jingyi squinted, pondering for a moment. Thinking here won't help. We might as well wait and see if what he says in his mind matches reality. Zhao Jingyi thought what her sister said made sense. That evening, Father Zhao and Mother Zhao came home, and seeing their third daughter who hadn't been back for months, they happily went into the kitchen themselves to prepare a big meal. After I came back, I shut my door and slept soundly. Now I was woken by the maid and came downstairs looking relaxed and refreshed. At the dining table, the Zhao family exchanged glances. Dad, Mom, Big Sis, Third Sis. After sitting down, I shouted out loudly as usual. I looked at the dishes on the table, clearly not made by the maid, but by the Annie herself. Deep down, I felt cold to have our parents personally cook. Only a few of my sisters could enjoy that. As for the son who went missing for over 10 years, he never got this kind of treatment. That statement made Father Zhao and Mother Zhao feel awkward. Well, he went missing young, and there's no emotional bond. It's normal not to care much. Maybe it's for the best. After all, I don't feel much affection for this family either, so I won't have to consider them in anything I do next. And suddenly, I kind of understand why that person did what he did in life. Even though he's also a Zhao family member, he never received any care or attention from his parents. None of it was ever given to him. All of his unreasonable behavior seemed like just a way to get more attention from his family in front of outsiders. He was arrogant and domineering, always showing off his identity as a Zhao family heir, just to let others know that his family loved him. He just used the wrong approach. Father and Mother Zhao listened to my inner voice and immediately lowered their heads in shame. Yichin, have some of this. Mother Zhao said as if trying to make up for it. She added a piece of lobster meat to my plate. I frowned at first, then looked up and looked at Mother Zhao with a slightly wronged expression. I'm allergic to seafood, don't you remember? Mother Zhao's expression turned panic. Her hand froze in midair. She looked at a loss. She didn't even know that her own son couldn't eat seafood. I'm sorry, sweetie. I was just too busy and muddled, Mother Zhao explained, and tossed the lobster meat into Zhao Qingyun's bowl instead. Then she added a piece of beef to mine. Too busy and muddled. She just never cared in the first place. Thanks, Mom, I said with a cheerful smile, but deep inside, I was puzzled. What's going on with the Zhao family today? Why are they suddenly so kind to me? Is there poison in this beef? The other four people at the table fell silent, seeing that I just kept staring at the beef in my bowl. Zhao Jingyi simply added a piece to her own bowl and ate it. If she ate it, it means it's not poisoned. Then I also started eating happily. Mother Zhao secretly let out a sigh of relief, but inside, she felt even worse. During dinner, Zhao Jingyi's phone dinged with a message. She casually opened it. It was a voice message from a colleague telling her to return as soon as possible. There's been new progress in the case. I perked up my ears to listen. But inwardly I speculated. They probably discovered another corpse. But again, they didn't find the victim's head. So they can't confirm the identity. Actually, the head is hidden in the tea plantation not far from the site. There's an abandoned well there. The killer used rocks to weigh it down at the bottom. Zhao Jingyi remained silent, her slender fingers tapping a reply on her screen. She wanted to see if my inner voice had any credibility. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Su Wanli had just returned to her apartment. She received a call from a friend, sis. The stuff you sent over. It really contains harmful substances. The dosage isn't high, but long-term use could cause problems. My advice is to stop using it immediately. Su Wanli stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, her red lips tightening, eyes swirling with emotion. I understand. After hanging up the phone, Su Wanli stared thoughtfully down at the dazzling lights of the city night. In her mind, images of my bright and cheerful self kept resurfacing, as well as my inner thoughts. At first, she didn't pay attention to what I said in my heart, but after receiving the call about Grandma collapsing, she began to have some doubts. For peace of mind, she sent Grandma's usual supplements to be tested. She didn't expect there would actually be a problem. Su Wanli lowered her gaze, a little curious. How did I know someone had tampered with the supplements Grandma was taking? She recalled earlier today, when I mentioned the task at the hospital, and a glint of suspicion flashed in her eyes. You've really piqued my curiosity. After dinner, I greeted my family, then went upstairs to my room. As soon as I flopped onto the bed, my phone suddenly rang. I picked it up and saw it was someone saved as Zheng Xian calling. As soon as I answered, deafening music blared from the other end, along with a boy's voice. Ji Ling and I are at Mio Okian right now. Today Miss Li is back from overseas. Do you want to come? Maybe thinking I'd refuse, he quickly added. I heard this Li Wei Yang and Su Wanli were childhood besties. So there's a good chance Su Wanli will be here too. If it were the original me, just hearing Su Wanli's name would have had me bursting out the door already. But I narrowed my eyes, rolled over lazily in bed. Not going. My hand's still injured. Can't drink. You guys have fun, I said, not giving him a chance to respond, and hung up immediately. Su Wanli always uses the same excuse, and they never get bored of it. Only that idiot original me would go running at the sound of Su Wanli, like a dog chasing poop. And every time he went, he was the one footing the bill. After hanging up, I flipped over and sat up. I finally started analyzing the original's friend circle. That call earlier was from Zheng Xian, one of the original's gang of useless friends. His family runs a modest-sized company, so they're fairly well off, but nothing compared to the Su or Zhao families. Besides Zheng Xian, there's another boy named Ji Ling. He met the original after he returned to the Zhao family and entered school. These two, though they called him brother all the time, actually only saw him as an ATM and a stepping stone. Zheng Xian had always wanted to break into high society, wherever the elite heirs went. The second generation rich, he'd show up to. But even high society has its levels, and with the backgrounds of Zheng Xian and Ji Ling, they simply couldn't access true high society. After hitting many walls, they finally ran into the gullible original me. With him as a young master of the Zhao family, Zheng Xian and Ji Ling repeatedly used Su Wanli's name to lure him in. Using him, they got to know a few wealthy heirs. But the original me was too stupid to see through Zheng Xian and Ji Ling's true intentions. Now that I've figured everything out, I feel even more annoyed. If rich and dumb described anyone, it's definitely the original. I mean, seriously, the Zhao parents gave him 300,000 yuan a month in allowance, yet his bank account had barely 5,000 yuan left. No wonder he tried selling Zhao Yunion's underwear. With two vampires hanging around him, he had to make money somehow. Starting today, if they manage to scam even 1 cent from me, I lose. Muttering curses to myself, I ended my thoughts, feeling a bit thirsty. Then I got up and went downstairs with a cup to get water. As soon as I reached the living room, I saw 4 people sitting on the couch, staring straight at me. What's going on? Scheming something behind my back. Looked like they got caught in the act, stunned like deer in headlights. Father Zhao cleared his throat, and then pretended nothing had happened. Picking up his thermos, he took a sip of goji berry tea. Mother Zhao forced a smile and said kindly, "Yichen, why aren't you asleep yet?" I raised the glass in my hand slightly and replied softly, "I was thirsty. Just came to get some water." "Dad, Mom, sisters, why aren't you all resting yet?" Zhao Jingyi leaned back on the sofa, adjusting her glasses. She replied coolly, "The adults are talking. Little kids should go to bed." I filled my cup with water, then walked slowly upstairs, wishing I could look back after every step just to see what those people were up to. What exactly is it that I'm not supposed to know? At the turn of the stairs, I quietly leaned over the railing, ears perked up to eavesdrop. Let me hear it. Are they secretly bad-mouthing me behind my back again? After I embarrassed myself so badly in front of Su Wanli today, they didn't even scold me. Something's definitely off, no question. The people in the living room who could hear my inner voice exchanged knowing glances but said nothing. Instead, they started asking about Zhao Jingyi's work. I listened for a while, but it was boring. Then I disinterestedly returned to my room. Once they heard the door shut, the group in the living room finally let out a small sigh of relief. "Where were we just now?" Mother Zhao asked quietly. Zhao Jingyi stared at her phone. After reading her colleague's reply, a strange glint flashed in her eyes behind her glasses. According to his inner voice, they really did find the victim's head in that abandoned well. As she said that, the entire living room instantly fell into dead silence. After a long pause, Zhao Jingyan finally spoke slowly. "So, his inner voice can predict future events. And also, he knows how things will end for all of us." Mother Zhao looked panicked, grabbing Zhao Jingyan's hand as she said anxiously, "Then does that mean we really will end up the way his inner voice said? The family ruined, lives lost?" Father Zhao stood silently to the side, his expression serious. Zhao Jingyan gently patted Mother Zhao's hand and comforted her. "Mom, don't panic. Now that we can hear our little brother's inner voice, we can prevent what's about to happen. We can change the ending. But we were too cold to Yichen before. What if he just don't let him find out?" Zhao Jingyan interrupted, as if recalling something else. She continued, "Maybe we misunderstood him before. Some things, maybe they weren't what we thought they were. We just never had enough patience with him. We always thought it was his fault. Let's try to be more patient with him from now on." Meanwhile, at Miaoking bar, Zheng Xian stared at the disconnected call with a hint of frustration on his face. "Well, when is he coming?" "Miss Li is still waiting in the private room," the guy beside him asked. Zheng Xian clenched his teeth, clearly annoyed. "He said he's not coming." The other guy's expression shifted, quickly lowering his voice. "Then what do? We already took the money." "Relax, didn't he break his hand recently? Just tell Miss Lin that when she asks, we'll invite him again when school starts." With that, Zheng Xian pulled the guy back to the private room. Soon enough, summer break came to an end. I had been quite well behaved lately, barely leaving the house, just staying home to recover. But when I said I was heading back to school, Father and Mother Zhao both looked at me in surprise. "Yichen, your hand hasn't healed yet. Don't rush back to school. Stay home and rest a bit longer." "No way. I've already fallen behind on so many classes. If I don't return soon, I won't catch up," I said sincerely, putting on an expression like I was obsessed with studying. Of course, unless they ignore my inner voice and keep me home. How else am I supposed to cling to Su Wanli? How else will I raise her disgust meter? There's no way I'm letting Su Wanli and Song Jingnian spend time alone. I'll be the ultimate third wheel. They won't get a moment of peace. By then, Su Wanli will definitely hate my guts. Her disgust meter will be maxed out. Father and Mother Zhao, hearing my mental rant, could barely hold it together. If they weren't afraid of revealing that they could hear my thoughts, they would have dragged me to the hospital then and there. Clearly unwell mentally. In the end, Father Zhao had the driver take me back to school. I'm a sophomore this year, studying at Yida German Arts Institute. Because Su Wanli studies here, I insisted on coming no matter what. Although the original host wasn't that great, with that face and the Zhao family's money, she still got into this school smoothly. After tossing my luggage into the dorm, I couldn't wait to go find her in the finance department. I hadn't seen her in over a week at the dorm. I truly missed her a lot. At that moment, the system that had been silent suddenly spoke up. What you miss is the 30 billion, isn't it? I curled my lips. With a smug look, if you know, don't say it out loud.